Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind takes place 1,000 years in the future. After the 7 days of fire destroyed the planet, it caused an ecocide, creating a vast jungle where it became the toxic giant insects. One creature that lives there is called an ohm, which is heavily armored big beetle thing. Nausicaa wants to live in a peaceful world where humans and giant insects can coexist together. It can't be said about other humans that want to use an embryo of a giant warrior to burn the jungle down and use it on other humans. Castle in the Sky is the first official film created by Studio Ghibili. The movie follows two old friends, a girl named Shita, who's attacked by a government agent, and pilots who want her crystal necklace, and Patsu, who works as a mechanic. Patsu tells her that he wants to go and find the legendary island because his father took pictures of it. Shita tells him that her name ties to Lapta. They are forced to team up with the pirates to go and get her crystal necklace back from the government agent that took it. Grave of the Fireflies is an animated war film that takes place during the Pacific War. The story follows two siblings, Sita and Setsuko. After an American bomber bombs their home, they are forced to move in with their aunt. Sita is forced to withdraw some money from his parents' account because food is becoming very scarce. Then another air raid comes, so now they have to live out of an abandoned bomb shelter. So now Sita has to get a job and provide for both of them so they can order to survive. My Neighbor Totoro follows a family that has to move to an old house because mom is in the hospital. The sister starts seeing spirits in the house. May follows two smaller spirits that lead her to a big forest and a larger one that is sleeping there, and that spirit's name is Totoro. Now Totoro starts to appear on the regular basis. He also became the mascot for the studio. Kiki's delivery service is about a 13-year-old witch that has to leave her home because that is the normal thing to do at that age. And she also takes a familiar spirit with her, which is a cat. She finds a town called Koriko, which she starts her own delivery service. While doing her job, she gets into a thunderstorm, which makes her lose her powers. Now she has to find her new purpose to regain those powers that she lost. Only Yesterday follows a 27-year-old Takiko, as she takes a holiday with her relatives in the country. During the course of her trip, she reminisces about her life when she was 10. We also see how Japan changed through her lens with the past and now into the future, where she just dropped off the train, how much her life and everything else has changed. Porco Rosso follows an ex-Italian World War I pilot fighter ace and a bounty hunter. He is cursed to have a pig's head. He gets into a duel with an American pilot called Curtis. If Curtis wins, he gets to marry Gina, and if Rosso wins, Curtis has to pay his debts to the Piccolo's company. Ocean Waves follows a love triangle of high school teenagers, and the movie just goes about what normal teenagers do. Fights with friends, trying to steal each other's girls, and the main character's not really caring about her until the very end of the movie. Then all of a sudden he wants to be with her. Pompoko sent to survive a colony of Japanese raccoon dogs, or Tauniku, living in the outskirts of Tokyo, as they work to combat the growing deforestation of their home. They use illusion skills to stop the process to extreme measures. However, when the old construction workers leave, more just keep on coming and replacing them over and over again. So now they have to come up with a plan to get help from the other elders of the other regions to help them put a stop to it all. Whisper the Heart follows the first love for Shizuku and Seiji. She wants to be a creative writer, and as for Seiji, he wants to be a master luthier. So she makes him play the violin with her, and the pair play Take Me Home Country Roads. Then, as she sees that he is very ongoing and wants to keep on pursuing the career, then she gets the idea that, alright, so let me pursue my career. And then now, she makes a fantasy story about a cat that guided her to Seiji, and that cat goes by the name of the Baron. So she makes a story about the Baron. Princess Mononoke is about a prince named Ashikata who protects his village from a boar that was turned into a demon. Upon defeating the boar gave him a curse that he would die from. So now he has to go on a journey to remove the curse. On doing so, he finds his way into a war between spirits and humans. Then he finds a human that is with the major wolf clan. Now he has to play both sides and help put a stop to the war. My Neighbor the Yamadas is a unique type of movie because every family member has their own storyline in the film. It goes over the relationships between father and son or husband and wife. It is also different because the film is presented in a comic strip than animated. Spirit Away is about a girl named Cheerio and her parents that are moving into a new town. On the trip, they find an abandoned place, so they stop and look for food. However, when Cheerio wanders off her parents turn into pigs because they ate the food. So now she wants to rescue her parents. However, the place that they are at turns into the spirit realm. So now, to blend in, she has to get a job with a witch at a sauna place. On doing so, when she makes a deal with a witch, she loses her name. So now, for her to leave the spirit world and rescue her parents at the same time, she can't forget her name. The Cat Returns is a spin-off of Whisper of the Heart. The Baron returns as one of the main characters, and Muta returns as another cat. This story follows Haru, a high school girl who saves the cat from being hit by a truck. However, that cat turns out to be a prince of a cat kingdom. For saving the cat, she receives gifts. However, one gift she didn't want to receive was marriage. So now, she needs help of the Baron to stop the marriage from happening and stop her from turning into a cat. Howl's Moving Castle is a story about a young milliner named Sophie that encounters a wizard named Howl on her way to see her sister. Later that night, she runs into the Witch of Waste, who turns her into a 90-year-old. So in order to break her curse, she seeks out Howl. So when she finds the castle, she goes inside, and she meets a fire spirit, who is chained to Howl. So now she has to break his curse, and her curse will be broken, so she offers up her service to stay there and to becoming a housemaid for the castle. Tales from Earthsea is based on the book called Earthsea. In this world, there are dragons that roam the sky. In the kingdom of Inland, the prince named Aaron kills his own father and steals his sword. As he travels through the desert, he runs into an archmage that goes by the name of Sparrowhawk. And then the two of them go to the city of Hortown, where they try and find Cobb, a dark mage, to put a stop to his plan. Ponyo tells the story of a goldfish-like creature who escapes from her captivity in the ocean onto land. She happens to appear upon a boy named Sosuke. They form an unlikely bond with each other. Every time they are reunited with each other and get closer, Ponyo becomes more human-like. The secret world of Avedi follows the story of a small family, and I mean very small. They live in a house where another main character named Sho's great aunt lives at. The Avedi's families are borrowers, and they go inside of the home and take things that they can carry back to the home and make a living with the items. From Up on the Poppy Hill tells the story of a girl named Umi, and she lives in a boarding house where she raises flags every day that say, "I pray for safe voyages." So a boy named Shun works for the school's newspaper club. They meet together and they start working together to clean up the newspaper club from a businessman who wants to demolish it. The Wind Rises takes place in 1918, where Jirio wants to become a pilot, but he has nearsightedness. He dreams of flying with his idol, Giovanni Caprione. So instead of flying, he goes to school to become an aeronautical engineer to create planes that can fly. So those are his dreams that fly. Princess Kaguya is about a young girl that is found inside of a glowing bamboo shoot by a bamboo cutter. So he brings her back to his wife and they start to call her princess. He also finds gold and fine cloth inside of another bamboo shoot. So he proclaims that she has divine powers. So now he wants her to become a noble. So he takes her to the capital. However, the young girl wants to live a noble life in the countryside. However, she has to stay there and become a noble. And Moni Was There is about a young girl named Anna that stays with her relatives in the Kuroshio wetlands. She has to live there because the air is clean and that will help her with her asthma. As she wanders the lake, she comes across an abandoned mansion. There, she meets a girl named Marnie, and the relationship goes like no other. By the end of the film, Anna is a more outgoing person than before she met Marnie. Urwig and the Witch is different from the other movies too because of the animation. The movie follows a troubled orphan girl named Urwig. Urwig gets adopted by a witch and the mandrake. The witch named Bella adopts her to make her do chores and spell making. The Boy and the Heron tells the story of a young boy named Mahito, who has to move with his dad and his new wife to a new estate after his mother dies in a house fire. He is distant to his stepmother because she is the sister. He comes across a gray heron that leads him to a sealed tower. One day, the stepmom named Natsuko goes into the forest and disappears. So now Mahito and the heron, which is now a birdman, sinks into the floor and tries to find Natsuko for his dad's sake.